What's up, guys? It's Hot Wheels Tournaments, and as many of you know, I attend the Matchbox Gathering of Friends every single year, which is essentially the Matchbox Collectors Convention. And every single year, Abe Lugo, the head designer for Matchbox, goes ahead and previews the upcoming lines and what's going to be happening in 2023. Part of that is he unveils the new models, so I'm going to be giving you my thoughts. He unveiled 18 of the 25 new models for 2023, as well as a good amount of the moving parts models, which is also an awesome line you guys should totally start collecting as well. So without further ado, I'm going to give my thoughts. So we begin the basic line with the Karma GSE6. This is already in metal form, which means it's likely going to be one of the first models we see in 2023 in the basic line. And to be honest, this is an awesome choice. The Fisker Karma was a big model that Matchbox did about 10 to 15 years ago. They did a lot of versions of it. It was very, very cool, very well executed, but Fisker never really lasted. It was one of the first electric cars, and it didn't really do much in the company when I'm under. However, it is back. They're producing cars again, so as a collector, this is a Matchbox classic car from the last 10 to 15 years. It makes sense to do another Karma model. I know a lot of collectors are excited for this. We follow that up with the Volvo 240, specifically the 1985 version. Matchbox loves doing Volvos. They do some great Volvos. Volvo V60 comes to mind, that wagon that they released, I think it's probably 6 to 7 years ago. It was a new model, but it is very, very cool. So glad to have more Volvos in the line. I got a friend at the convention who is a huge fan of them, so I know he's very excited, but we could always use more Volvos, and it brings a nice diversity to the line. We follow that up with the Australian 2016 Holden Commodore. The Holden Ute has been another very successful model. It's really cool. Holden is an Australian car manufacturer, as many of you know, and the Commodore is really cool. It's a road-going vehicle. We could always use more of those, but it is cool to bring another unique brand into the fold for Matchbox and see them get a wider variety of cars in the line. We follow that up with a bit of an interesting pick. We're actually going to see an updated Tesla Model S. So the Tesla Model S was a new model about 6 years ago, and it was really well executed and really well done and damn near perfect. However, they're bringing an updated version, which I guess it has been 6 years. There's definitely some changes to the Model S. You can see that even on the resin here, it's not exactly the same casting. However, it is weird that they're going to redo it. I think part of this is because Mattel mandates that Hot Wheels and Matchbox, I believe it's 60% of their new models have to be electric vehicles. Well, there's only so many electric vehicles out, and there's not exactly a wide, exciting variety. You can't do classic cars. They were all gas. So you have to, kind of reuse models sometimes. And seeing that the Tesla Model S has been out 6 years, it makes sense to redo. I'll definitely pick this up. I love the original version. I'm sure I'm going to love this retooling, this updated version. So this is going to be a cool one, and Tesla seems to sell well. People collect the Teslas. It's going to fly off the pegs. We follow that up with another interesting choice, the 1970 Ford Ranchero. I feel like we've had a lot of new Ranchero castings recently. I know we just had last one. I believe one last year. It was an early 60s version, and one 2 or 3 years before that in pink. So another Ford Ranchero, not particularly my cup of tea, but I will pick up the new model, and I'm sure a lot of people, especially older collectors who appreciate those classic trucks and cars, will get them as well. Speaking of not my cup of tea, the Morris Minor Saloon. I don't know. Again, not my era, not what I collect, not really from the era I collect, and I don't think it's the coolest car. However, I'm sure there are people that absolutely love it. I'll pick up one so I have the complete new models, but I don't really see myself picking up a lot of versions that come out after this, unless there's just like some crazy nice premium series. But I'm not a big completionist outside of the new models. We follow that up, however, with an awesome choice, the Mazda RX-8. Now, obviously, the Mazda RX-7 is a classic JDM Japanese car. You see them everywhere in Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels has 2 different versions of the RX-7. They're absolutely awesome. They use them as supers and premiums and all that stuff, and people go nuts for them. However, there isn't really an RX-8 version in any diecast line. We haven't seen it in $1 from Hot Wheels or Matchbox, but I can't really think of anything like Tarmac Works or Mini GT doing the RX-8. The diecast world is lacking a 1/64 scale RX-8, and Mazda's going to be the one to do it. Now, it's not as beautiful as the RX-7. It is a little goofy looking in real life, but it's certainly got a cult following in the car world, and I think it is going to become more popular with this diecast release. I see a lot of collectors wanting to pick this one up. Following that up, we get the 1941 Plymouth Coupe. For those that don't know, Abe Lugo, the head Matchbox designer, is a huge, old school classic cars fan. He loves those 30s and 40s cars, and he tries to get one in the lineup every year. This year, it's the 1941 Plymouth Coupe. This thing looks absolutely massive in resin. So I think it'll be cool. I'll pick one up so I have the complete new models. We then get the 1980 AMC Eagle. This one got a pretty large cheer at the convention. Now, it is a lot of older collectors there, who have a certain appetite for a certain era of cars, and this is certainly one they saw on the roads growing up. Personally, I'm a fan of it. Another wagon type car. Wagons look cool. I'm gonna have to learn more about the AMC brand. It's not really been a company, a car manufacturer since I was alive, so I'll have to do some research there. But it looks really, really cool. Also in metal, so we'll see this one early in the 2023 line. Following that, we have the new Ford Bronco Sport. Now, some of you might be saying, haven't we got a Ford Bronco in the main line already? And you would be right. We have gotten the new Bronco. However, that was the normal version of the Bronco. We're then getting the two-door moving parts this year in the moving parts line. So we're getting the two-door Bronco, and then we're getting the Ford Bronco Sport. So there are 3 versions of the new Bronco. We'll have all 3. Ford is an easy licensor to work with. The Bronco's a popular car. I think this is a very smart choice, and it's going to look really, really good. I'm excited for this one. Following that up, we have a very cool car, the 1994 AutoZam AZ1. Had to do some research on this. Knew nothing about what this car was when it was announced. It was produced by Mazda as a way to compete with the Nissan Beat. It's a small little sports car. However, it was released right at the time of Japanese recession, and it never really sold well and didn't do that great. However, it's a very cool, unique car. We get one car like this every single year from Matchbox. This car fits that mold. I think it's awesome. I look forward to learning more about it. I think it's going to be really, really cool. I don't know if it'll sell. Personally, I'm going to pick up every version of this casting they release, though, because I think it is awesome. We then move on to the Porsche Macan, and yes, this makes so much sense as a Matchbox car. I'm not sure why they haven't done it yet. They did the Cayenne years ago in Super Fast series. We saw it all the time. We saw it in the regulars. It was cool. The Macan just makes so much sense. It's just been a matter of time before we get this. We now got it. I'm very excited to see how this turns out in the 1/64th scale. I have a lot of hope. We weren't shown any pre-production for it, so I'm guessing it'll be later in the year, or Porsche just wanted to hold off on people seeing it. One or the other, but awesome choice. Cannot wait to see that. We follow that up with another choice I think is very cool, the Nissan Sentra. Yeah, pretty boring car, but kind of a cool 1/64th casting to have. Matchbox usually does a couple just everyday vehicles that you would see, just kind of every day on the road. Nothing crazy, We've seen the Subaru Forester in the past, which was really, really nice. This year it's going to be the Nissan Sentra. Awesome. I hope we see it in red. That's my personal choice, but yeah, just really cool. Going to be a fun one to have, and I'll probably pick up every version of that as well. We then move into a bit of a weird casting, the Renault Twizy. Yeah, when you have 25 licensed new models, that's not exactly cheap. There are going to probably be some weird ones, but this is kind of filling that role. Apparently, you can rent these in France, drive them around. I don't really know. I'll have to do some more research on them. But yeah, I'll pick up the first edition of this. Probably not much after that, but I'm glad to see that Renault Matchbox connection is strong. I think Renault makes a lot of cool cars. I hope we see some more. I'm looking forward to seeing that Megane later this year. We then follow that up with this year's hypercar/supercar. We see a supercar or hypercar every single year in the new models. In the past, we've seen the Porsche 918, the McLaren 720S, the Bugatti Divo have filled that slot. This year, we get a Koenigsegg Gemera, and I am so freaking excited for this. Hot Wheels released one. It was good, but it wasn't perfect. There was room for improvement, and based off what we saw at the convention, based off what I was able to see in the photos and in person, it looks like it is already better. It is already more accurate, better proportioned, and this thing is going to be awesome. I love the fact that we can now get Matchbox Koenigsegg's, Matchbox Bugattis, Matchbox Lamborghinis. If you said that 5, 6, 7 years ago, people would have thought you were crazy. But lo and behold, we get a new supercar or hypercar every single year, and they usually knock it out of the park. We follow that up with the Polaris Ranger EV. Can't imagine people are going to be the most excited about this one. I'm certainly not. Again, when you have 25 licensed new models, they're not all going to be incredibly insane or appeal to the same type of people. But I have imagined this is going to be one of the least popular. That's not a knock on Polaris. I'm sure this is a very nice vehicle, very handy in real life. It feels an electric vehicle slot. But yeah, not a lot going on here. I'll pick up the first edition, probably not much past that. Following that, we got the Monarch EV tractor. Kind of the same thing as the Polaris. Not something I think a ton of collectors are going to be going crazy about. Though there are a fair amount of tractor collectors out there who I'm sure are going to be excited to see a licensed tractor in the Matchbox range. You know what? If we get tractor collectors to the pegs and they buy them, I won't complain too much. It also fills another electric vehicle slot. I think that electric vehicle mandate kind of makes it difficult. So you have to fill in a wide variety once you do a lot of the normal cars, and the EV tractor is one that Abe managed to find. Then, a very exciting choice, at least for me, I'm sure a lot of other people too, but the Mercedes-Benz AMG SL. I cannot wait to see this thing. I love the Mercedes that Matchbox does. The Mercedes series was one of the coolest things they ever did. I was at the pegs every single morning at 6 a.m. at Walmart trying to find them. It was absolutely awesome. The SL55 that they did way back in the 2000s is one of my favorite castings. I have so many versions. I'm not complete on it though, but it was in super fast, mainline, all those lines. I have a version on my desk at school because I can't take my collection with me. I love that model. I have it on my desk, but they haven't really done a lot of SL55s since the return of the Mercedes license. In fact, I don't even think they've done one. I can't think of one that they've done. I might be missing. I think the CS500 was in the Mercedes series, but there wasn't an SL55. So the fact that we're now getting an AMG SL is awesome because we've gotten a lot of AMG cars. We've gotten a lot of Mercedes, but that SL nameplate has just not been there, and it's finally back. We're getting it in 2023. This thing is going to be awesome. I'm going to buy every version of it I see. I cannot wait for it. To round out the 2023 new models that were shown, the 2020 Chevy Silverado will also be in the 2023 mainline. Makes a lot of sense. We saw the Ford F-150 Lightning revealed last year. It'll be out in the later cases of this year. So it makes sense to follow with the new Silverado. I don't know if this is going to be the electric version. I don't know. I didn't really ask. So we'll see. I guess we'll see what ends up happening there. But cool choice. The old Silverados, they released a 2015 version, I believe, that was really nice, really well done. So I'm looking forward to see how this one comes out. Now let's go ahead and look at the moving parts new models coming out, and we start off with an absolute banger, the 2020 Bentley Continental GT. We had to know this one was coming, right? The Continental was one of Matchbox's best cars during that golden era in the late 2000s, that 2004, 2005 to about 2011. This was one of the best castings they ever did. The Bentley Continental looks so nice. And then it just kind of disappeared and was never done again. And Hot Wheels did a Bentley Continental GT, which was subpar to say the least, was just really bad. And then 2 years ago, Matchbox announced they were doing the Bentley Bentayga, and we got the Bentley Bentayga, and it was like, all right, we got the Bentley license back. When is the Continental GT going to happen? Are we going to see it again? And here it is in moving parts with opening doors. Come on now. That is going to be absolutely awesome. Great choice from the team. We follow that up with another really cool model, the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter Camper, which absolutely deserves to be moving parts. If this was done in the basic range, it would probably be a plastic body with blacked out windows, and it would really suck. But in moving parts, that extra price increase gives you the room to give it an interior, hopefully a metal body, and you get that sliding door on the side that is going to look awesome. I think if this was basic range, it'd be forgettable. Moving parts, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a must-have. My one worry, I hope if the metal's body, that door is body. We've seen with the BMW i8, the plastic door and the metal body, you can't get the colors quite to match. So I'm hoping, if it's possible, that door is done in metal. Otherwise, if it's plastic, it won't be perfect. If it is metal, I think it can absolutely be done perfectly. I'm very excited for this one. We move right along to the second new Tesla of the year, the first in moving parts, the 2022 Tesla Roadster. We've seen this in the main line as a hardtop. We now get a moving part with opening doors that is going to be the actual Roadster drop-top convertible version. So this is very cool. Glad to see that Tesla relationship is strong. More new Teslas. They sell. They look great. They're going to bring people to the pegs. I have no complaints there. We then have the Bollinger B1. Might have pronounced that wrong. I know pretty much nothing about this car. I think I've seen one or two posts on like various Instagram accounts about it. I just hope it's as big as the truck looks, because this truck looks like it's an absolute mammoth. I'm going to have to do some research on this one. I did research on a few cars before this video. Not really this one, because it doesn't look like the type of thing that it interests me. But it will be cool. No comment on what the moving part will be on this one, so we'll have to see. We then move on to the collector favorite Mercedes-Benz Unimog 5023. You guys know I love Mercedes. This one's going to be no different. Can't wait to get my hands on this one. It's going to have a tilting rear bed. That's going to be awesome. The old Unimog from that golden era is very popular. Makes sense they would bring around a second version of a Unimog. This one's a little bit bigger. That tilting bed's going to be awesome. Can't wait to see it. It makes so much sense to do this one. We then get the Tesla Model 3. Finally, our third new Tesla. You know, they're rehashing a couple models they've already done, but the one model of Tesla they hadn't done was the Model 3. We've seen the S, we've seen the X, we've seen the Y, we've seen the Roadster. We haven't seen the Model 3. 3 of those models have been announced to be having 2 different versions coming out, and finally we're getting the Model 3. It made sense, with so many electric vehicles required in the lineup. Makes sense you do all the Teslas. They finally knock out the Model 3 here in moving parts with opening doors. Can't wait to see that one. We then move on to the Jeep Gladiator, which will have an opening hood, and I don't know. I mean, this model's been done twice in the main line now. We had the concept. We then had the Gladiator with none of the doors and the roof. I don't know. It's just not a model that really interests me. Probably won't be picking up this one, but I can see that there's probably a collector market out there for it. I know Jeeps and trucks are insanely popular, but yeah, I just don't really have a lot of interest in this one. So if you like it, sorry, that's my opinion. Please don't hate on me. Absolutely pick this version up because the Gladiators they do make are very nice. Then we move into one which is sure to be extremely popular, the 1988 Mazda RX-7. We get the RX-8. We now get the Mazda RX-7. We've seen Matchbox make the road-going Mazdas. We've seen the CX-5. We've seen the Miata. We have seen the Mazda 3. But we haven't seen any of the classic throwback Mazdas, the extremely popular ones. Now we get a Mazda RX-7 with the roof down, pop-up hood, just like that S2000 from a few years ago. Absolutely awesome. Love that they do this. This is going to be extremely popular. I'm going to get every version of this model. It's got a lot of potential to be premium, potentially dinner, gathering models. I think it's going to be immensely, immensely popular. Another one that's bound to be popular, Toyota FJ40, a Matchbox classic. I didn't have any interest in this car when I first started collecting. Then there was one on the Matchbox pegs. I looked at it. I was like, you know what? $1. It looks kind of cool. Bought it. Opened it up and immediately was like, damn, this model is freaking awesome. And now we're getting an opening parts version with opening doors. Cannot wait for it. The FJ40 is a staple in Matchbox. It gets some of its best decos. I'm very excited to see how this one turns out. We follow that up with the 2021 Chevy Tahoe. Awesome. Road-going car, I would absolutely recommend them doing this one just because I love big SUVs. The Tahoe is that staple black, CIA, FBI vehicle you pull up in every show. It just looks cool and menacing. This is going to be a really, really nice one to have. The only thing, it's opening doors. I kind of wish it was an opening rear. I think the opening rear is a cooler feature than opening doors. Either way, I'm happy we're getting one from Matchbox. We follow that up with the 2021 Fiat 500e, which was we got a Fiat 500. I can't remember if it was the electric version this year as a new model. We now get the E, which has the opening hatch. Let's go. What would have been, an okay model, like I'll get it, becomes like a must-have just because I love the models with the rear opening hatches. I think they look so awesome with that rear opening hatch. So absolutely love to see that. Very, very cool. Glad Fiat's got increased presence. Who knows what we could see from them in Matchbox in the future. Then we get what might be my most anticipated new model of the year, the 2022 Lexus LX. First off, I just mentioned I love the big kind of SUV vehicles. They're kind of boring in real life, but man, is it so fun to buy 1/64 scale versions of them. I don't know why. They're just options. They're just awesome. But this Lexus LX is going to be so cool. It gets the opening rear. Again, come on. Let's go. The Range Rover with the opening rear that they've done might be the best Matchbox model of the last 5 years. This Lexus LX, I hope, gives it a run for its money as the best SUV they've ever done because I'm so excited for it. We then get the 1963 Ford F100. Makes a lot of sense. The Chevy C10 has done really well with the opening hood. This one's going to get the opening hood. Just a classic pickup. People were very excited about this one. I will get it. I like the look of classic pickups. Very, very cool. We follow that up with the 1969 Ford Mustang Boss or Ford Boss Mustang, whatever order it goes in. Awesome. This one's already in metal. We're going to get it early in the year. Opening hood. Awesome. I hope this gets a tampoed engine. It looks so much better when it's tampoed and not just left plastic. We'll see if that car has it in the budget, but I like the Ford Mustang Boss. I've loved the Hot Wheels version. The Super Treasure Hunt, I think, is one of the best cars they've ever done. I'm happy we're getting a Matchbox version to kind of compete with it. Very, very exciting. I love that we're going to get it in some stock deco, stock look. Yeah, this is a cool one. And then the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. We get the Roadster version, top down. For those that don't know, I am a huge Lamborghini fan. I love Lamborghini. The moving parts Centenario was awesome, and I'm so excited we're going to be getting a counterpart with the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, a car that has so sorely been needed to be made. Hot Wheels has the Aventador, but it's got the big back wheel syndrome. It's not perfect. We needed a good, cheap Aventador. Mini GT did one. It looks awesome. I'm glad we're getting one that is going to be a little bit cheaper, a little bit more accessible, because I cannot afford to buy every single color of the Mini GT, Lamborghini Aventador SVJ. I have too much other things in my collection to spend money on. I'll get one or two versions, but I can't get them all. I will get every single one of the Matchbox version, especially because it's got these supercar opening doors. Oh my God, just awesome. Very, very excited for this one. Cannot wait to see it. Then we get the 1964 Buick Riviera. This is just a pick that makes sense. This is a type of car that Matchbox has made forever. We've seen them in Superfast. We've seen them in the main line. Yeah, good choice. Not much more to say. It's not my cup of tea, but it looks good. I'm sure it's going to be popular. Then we get the 1957 Ford Country Sedan, which might have got the loudest yell at the gathering when people saw it. Abe Lugo owns this car. I believe the first version he wants to have with the same paint deco he has on his car, so that's very cool. Personally, I think this looks awesome. 50s cars just had these weird lines that make them look very futuristic, kind of, even in today. So I'm excited to see how this turns out. Anyways, that is all. That is my thoughts on the new mainlines and new moving parts models that have been announced for 2023. Obviously, things could change. Cars could not be released or get delayed. The Toyota 4Runner, for example, was in my video last year. It's going to be a 2023 new model because it got delayed. It's still getting released. It's just getting released a year later. Anyways, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what's your most anticipated new model, and I will see you all later. Peace.